Hello everyone, welcome to my channel GK for GC. Here today we will discuss 15 general knowledge GK questions. Instruction. Please watch the video till end without skipping it. A request. If you find my channel interesting, useful and informative, please like, share and subscribe it and support us. So let's start today's GK questions discussion. Question number 1. Which Government of India Act had provincial autonomy as its main feature? A. Government of India Act 1935, B. Government of India Act 1919, C. Government of India Act 1904, D. Government of India Act 1858. So the answer is A. Government of India Act 1935. The Government of India Act 1935 was a major reform in British India's governance. One of its key features was provincial autonomy, which allowed elected provincial legislatures to have full control over local matters like education, health, agriculture, and public works. This meant that the provinces had the freedom to act independently from the central government in these areas, marking a significant shift from earlier, more centralized control. Question number 2. The post of Secretary for India was created by which act? A. Morley Minto Reforms 1909, B. Government of India Act 1858, C. Indian Councils Act 1861, D. Montague-Chelmsford Reforms 1919. So the answer is option B. Government of India Act 1858. The Government of India Act 1858 was first passed after the 1857 revolt, also known as Indian Rebellion or Sepoy Mutiny. This act led to the abolition of the East India Company's rule and transferred power directly to the British Crown. The creation of the post of Secretary of State for India centralized the administration, making the Secretary responsible for overseeing the governments of India with a council of assist. Question number 3. For the first time, representation in the legislature was granted by which Government of India Act? A. Government of India Act 1858, B. Government of India Act 1909, C. Government of India Act 1919, D. Government of India Act 1935. So the answer is Government of India Act 1909. Also known as the Morley Minto Reforms, this act was the first to introduce a system of representation for Indians in the legislative councils. It allowed for a limited increase in the number of Indians in the legislative bodies and introduced the concept of separate electorates for Muslims, ensuring that only Muslim voters could elect Muslim representatives. This was an early step towards giving Indians a say in governance, albeit limited. Question number 4. Who possessed residual powers in the federation established by the Government of India Act 1935? A. Federal Legislature, B. Governor General, C. Provincial Legislature, D. Provincial Governors. So the answer is B. Governor General. The Government of India Act 1935 set up a federal structure where powers were divided between the central government and the provinces. However, the Governor General retained significant powers, including the residual powers. Those powers that were not explicitly mentioned in the Constitution were to be exercised by the Governor General. This maintained the British hold over key aspects of governance despite the appearance of autonomy. Question number 5. Which act is known as the Montague-Chelmsford Reforms? A. Indian Independence Act 1947. B. Government of India Act 1919. C. Pitt's India Act 1784. D. Charter Act 1813. The answer is Government of India Act 1919. The Government of India Act 1919, commonly known as the Montague-Chelmsford Reforms, introduced a dual system of administration called diarchy in the provinces. This meant that the subjects were divided into transferred and reserved categories. The elected Indian ministers governed the transferred subjects while the reserved subjects remained under the control of British officials. This act was intended to gradually involve Indians in the governance process. Question number 6. In 1922, who among the following said that Indian constitution will be made according to the wishes of Indians? A. Mahatma Gandhi, B. Motilal Nehru, C. Gopal Krishna Gokhale, D. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So the answer is B. Motilal Nehru. Motilal Nehru, a prominent Indian leader, was a key advocate for Indian self-governance. He emphasized that any constitution for India should be created with the full participation and consent of Indians themselves, rather than imposed by the British government. This perspective became a cornerstone of the Indian freedom movement, leading to the demand for a constituent assembly. Question number 7. In 1924, who demanded the British government to form a constituent assembly for the framing of the Indian constitution? A. M.N. Roy, B. Mahatma Gandhi, C. Motilal Nehru, D. Gopal Krishna Gokhale. So the answer is A. M.N. Roy. M.N. Roy, an Indian revolutionary and political activist, was among the earliest to demand the establishment of a constituent assembly in 1924. He argued that only the body elected by the Indian people could draft a constitution that truly reflected their aspirations. This demand gained traction among Indian leaders and became a central point in the struggle for independence. Question number 8. The idea of the Constituent Assembly was first formally proposed by whom? A. Motilal Nehru, B. Jawaharlal Nehru, C. M.N. Roy, D. Mahatma Gandhi. So the answer is C. M.N. Roy. In 1934, M.N. Roy formally proposed the idea of a Constituent Assembly to draft a new constitution for India. This was a significant development because it shifted the focus from gradual reforms under British supervision to the idea of a completely Indian made constitution. The demand for a constituent assembly became a major objective for Indian leaders thereafter. Question number 9. Who gave a concrete shape to the Constituent Assembly? A. Mahatma Gandhi, B. Motilal Nehru, C. M.N. Roy, D. Jawaharlal Nehru. So the answer is D. Jawaharlal Nehru. Jawaharlal Nehru, a leading figure in the Indian National Congress, was instrumental in promoting the idea of a constituent assembly. He worked to turn the demand into reality, especially after 1940 when the Congress formally committed to the goal of having a constitution created by Indians themselves. His leadership in the freedom movement gave momentum to the establishment of the Constituent Assembly. Question number 10. In which year did the Congress pass a resolution demanding the framing of the Constitution by the Indian people without any external interference? A. 1928, B. 1931, C. 1936, D. 1942. So the answer is B. 1931. In 1931, during the Karachi session of the Indian National Congress, the party adopted a resolution demanding a constitution made by Indians without British interference. This resolution emphasized fundamental rights and laid down a vision for India's future governance, reflecting the growing sentiment that only a sovereign Indian body could draft a legitimate constitution. Question number 11. In 1938, who demanded the formation of the Constituent Assembly based on adult suffrage? A. Mahatma Gandhi, B. Jawaharlal Nehru, C. Subhash Chandra Bose, D. Vallabhbhai Patel. So the answer is C. Subhash Chandra Bose. Subhash Chandra Bose, a prominent nationalist leader, demanded the formation of a constituent assembly based on adult suffrage in 1938. He emphasized that all Indian adults should have the right to vote for members of the constituent assembly, ensuring that the body drafting the constitution would be fully representative of the Indian populace. Question number 12. In which plan was it accepted that an elected constituent assembly would be formed in India which would frame the constitution after the war? A. Cripps Mission Plan, B. Wavell Plan, C. Cabinet Mission Plan, D. Mountbatten Plan. So the answer is A. Cripps Mission Plan. The Cripps Mission led by A. Cripps Mission Plan. The Cripps Mission, led by Sir Stafford Cripps in 1942, was an effort by the British government to secure Indian support during World War II. The plan proposed a new Indian Union with a constituent assembly elected after the war. Though it was rejected by Indian leaders, it was the first official acknowledgement by the British of the need for an Indian Constituent Assembly. Question number 13. Who first demanded the formation of the Constituent Assembly in 1895? A. Mahatma Gandhi, B. Jawaharlal Nehru, C. B.R. Ambedkar, D. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. So the answer is D. Bal Gangadhar Tilak. Bal Gangadhar Tilak, an early nationalist leader, was among the first to demand the creation of a constituent assembly as far back as 1895. Although his demand did not gain immediate traction, Tilak's vision laid the groundwork for future movements advocating Indian self-rule and the idea of Indians creating their own constitution. Question number 14. What was the basis for forming the Constituent Assembly of India? A. Resolution of the Indian National Congress, B. Cabinet Mission Plan 1946, C. Indian Independence Act 1947, D. Proposals of the provincial or state legislatures of the Indian Dominion. So the answer is Cabinet Mission Plan 1946, B. The Cabinet Mission Plan sent by the British government in 1946 laid out a detailed framework for India's future, including the establishment of a constituent assembly. This assembly was tasked with drafting the Constitution of India, which would determine the future governance of an independent India. Question number 15, last question. According to which plan was the Constituent Assembly of India formed? A. Simon Commission proposal, B. Cripps proposal, C. Mountbatten plan, D. Cabinet Mission plan. So the answer is Cabinet Mission Plan. The Cabinet Mission of 1946, which included British ministers, proposed a plan that called for a constituent assembly to draft India's constitution. This was seen as a compromise to transfer power to Indian hands while maintaining unity and addressing the communal tensions between different religious groups. The Constituent Assembly formed as a result led to the creation of the Indian Constitution in 1950. Thank you.